Good morning, everybody. Let's have a look at Vchain, a bit of VET, the VET coin, as it's one of the only coins that I'm relatively fixated on and have been for about 5 weeks now. Starting the dollar cost average since we came down initially to this golden cross on the weekly, which we ploughed right through. The second area that I bought is basically where we're at right now, 2.7, and I will buy lower if we go there. I'm just trying to build a portfolio, and I got my head into this fixation with Vchain that it's going to make its way back into the teens at some point over the next year or so. So with that in mind, I think all of this price is fair game. I suppose, from this area down is fair game. We're talking risk to reward, which is like my catchphrase, always talking risk to reward, risk to reward. And we're thinking, all right, fine, if your average area, well, my average area being probably where we are right now, let's face it, because if it comes down, I'll buy more. And we're looking to make its way back into the teens. Over about a 12 to 16 month period, it's a 500% gain to get into the mid-teens, really, where I think it's a reasonable expectation to see 15 or 16 cents on this one again. I'm not going to pretend that it's definitely going to go to an all-time high, but I like the structure on it, or I like the structure that has developed on it, and we're back into what I think is the accumulation zone, which is a 100% range from all the way down here at 0.15 cents to all the way up here around 3 cents. So loads of coins have these. This is not dissimilar to a lot of other things. 100% accumulation range sounds dramatic if you were to be trading like, I don't know, anything else other than crypto, but for crypto, a 100% range is pretty much standard stuff for a crypto. Even for Bitcoin, to be honest with you, you go over to Bitcoin and look at the accumulation range of the last cycle. We didn't get much chance to accumulate this cycle, but in the previous cycle, you were talking around about 6,600, 3,000, 3,500. It's a rough area of accumulation, and even when we broke out of there, we reaccumulated as the low was 6,000. And the high was about 12,000. So it's very common, even for Bitcoin, to accumulate within a range quite so broad, to be honest. It's standard stuff, really, for crypto, which is why we like it, because it goes up massively. But remember, if you're accumulating within a 100% range, you've got to be prepared for the old volatility, and also the sideways boring nature, making sure that you're always having a word with yourself. Have I done the right thing? I know I'm supposed to be accumulating within a 100% range, but it just keeps going down. That's normal, mate. It's normal. But for some reason, I woke up this morning to see that Vchain is actually greener than the rest. And so we're going to have a little think and digest why that might be. So let's have a look. We'll start on the 4-hourly. So the 4-hourly is working on, although not yet completed, a pump signal on the Ichimoku cloud. So you've got a green portion of the cloud here, price action above the cloud, conversion baseline cross down here. All we're waiting for is this Chiku span to make its way outside of the price action, outside of the cloud, which is going to take the rest of the weekend, to be honest, at this exact level. If we were to close a little higher, which is going to take another 4% move, so 2.8 cents or higher, it would complete earlier. We've got to get the cheeky span above the cloud, basically. Looking at momentum, crossed above the 0 point, very nice. No bearish divergence, very nice. Money flow index creeping up, actually getting to slightly overheated territory. So if we do move up, a consolidation, or probably a pullback is probably the right word for it, is likely. But that's okay while you're above all moving averages like this. If we continue with this small and steady uptrend, like what we're seeing at the moment, you could think about buying dips, or at least buying it back on Bollinger Bands, maybe even the 10 exponential. So it's very small baby step moves, but it's brewing a much larger move if it was to continue like this, and the market remains sort of at least stable or green throughout this weekend. I'm relatively hopeful, because we did the Patreon live stream last night, and some coins have done what I expect, but most of them are positioned to do what I'm going to show you, including Vchain. So we've got these death crosses, not just on 4-hourlies, they'll be on 12-hourlies, they're on dailies, and each one of them invites a move up into it. So if we were to just say now where we're going to go, we've got a 9% move up to just short of 3 cents, and then an extended target to the exponential is just above 3 cents. So we're talking 3 cents basically for a move only to get rejected in the form of a death cross retest. Now there's, like I say, some coins we looked at last night, they've already done it, surprisingly. So it has happened for some altcoins already. Most altcoins has not, and so you could measure each move individually. Because the moving averages are descending, the returns with every 4-hourly candle close will bring these down lower and lower and lower and lower and lower and lower until basically there's really no point in making any kind of attempt to trade because the returns will be so small. Now I'm in this not for trading. This is I'm in this one for a hodl position. But if we were to look over here on the daily, this is where things are getting a bit more interesting. So we're scraped out this low here, and we're attempting to retest a Bollinger Band center. So this is like this is like a big line in the sand really, to where things could get a bit more interesting than just your standard death cross retest on the 4-hourly. This could be marked maybe as a change of behaviour on the daily, which if that's the case will offer a bigger move. Now this is descending as well, so with every day that goes by the resistance on this one gets lower and lower and lower. So by Monday effectively, this moving average is going to be lower than where we are right now, and by Monday we should know if it's either been rejected or if we're going to maybe even close above it. Now because it's descending, you want to see it the curvature at least go horizontal, if not turn back up, which eventually this is going to do, as everything would likely do if it moves into an uptrend. But if we were to break above this area, and again, it was not much different to the price action right now, you'd think about targeting the death cross retest on the daily. So the 50 exponential being part of that, which is at 3.1 cents, and the 200 exponential being up here at 3.36 cents. And if you are really optimistic, you could measure all the way up to the 200 simple, which is 32.9, almost 33% move. So all of that, like I say, realistic. It's not guaranteed, obviously, but for some reason, Vchain is responding better than others, just anecdotally at the moment. Now, with these moves down, we had 1, 2 moves down, with 1, 2 moves up. That's standard classic bullish divergence. We've recognized these green histograms after a tick. Investopedia will tell you that it's bullish to get across at any point, and I wouldn't say it's actually bullish, but it goes on the list of reasons why you might be looking to turn around. It's not a signal in itself, but with the bullish divergence here, the turn up of money flow index, and obviously the positive cross on the moving averages on the MACD, there's the odds are in favour of it having a bit more strength and potentially breaking through this area. So I would be looking for a break from this 20 moving average, which would be pretty good because it makes it look like it wants to move up into just the low 3 cent zone, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, roughly around those areas. So we'll see. I do like it. So let's turn it down a little bit further to a 12-hourly. And again, all these signals and setups are exactly the same on each time frame. So 4-hourly, 12-hourly, daily, they've all got divergence. They're all turning up. And we have reclaimed just recently over the last 24 hours the 20 moving average, which is also turning up. It's excuse me. Excuse me. Turning up a little bit here as well. So facing up, which means that the supports hopefully will be higher and higher with every 12-hourly close. 200 exponential, 29%. 200 simple, 39%. So there's power in numbers. There's power across all time frames. It's not the most powerful thing you've ever seen in your life, but divergence across all time frames that I care about, at least anyway. We'll finally have a look at the weekly, which shows no divergence whatsoever. So when we're talking about spotting a major bottom on this chart, the weekly is going to be your favourite thing to do it. And there isn't anything here. So for me to call an absolute low is silly. It could be, but the weekly hasn't done anything to make me think that the absolute low is in at this point. Since we lost this area here, I think the only thing we should be looking for would be a money flow index divergence, which we haven't got. And so we might be getting that later on, and because it's a weekly, this could take weeks, maybe even a couple of months really to get that divergence, which could obviously bring us down below 2.2, maybe even back down to where we started from. All of this is fair game for accumulation. But if there is a trade, for instance, I suppose over this weekend or this next week, Vchain is positioned for a potential breakout here, and a break from here into the lower threes is what I'll be looking for. Now, let's have a quick look at this, shall we? A bit of Bitcoin, just so we can get our heads around what's going on. So we closed last night 60,400, and we're sort of moving up a little bit at the moment. Any potential divergence? Yes, there was. Yes, there is. And there is divergence on a candle body basis, ever so slightly. 4 hourly, what are you doing? Anything going on 4 hourly? So, no, we're just turning up nicely. So again, momentum pushing towards the up. You need to get closures, candle body closures above where we're at, more or less, basically, right now. 61,200, so your 21 and your 20 moving averages. You get closures on the 4 hourly above that. The next battle is going to be 62,300, and then all the way up to around 65,000, where probably you'll see a rejection, because just like what we're suggesting with Vchain on any of those time frames, is that this is a death cross, and you want to see a death cross retest. So it's a bearish formation for those who want to be bearish. You can't be bearish immediately; you get bearish at a higher place. Just like you retest supports and go long or buy the dip, you sell the rip on a bearish formation like this. So this is what it is. And again, just to reiterate, this is the setup. The setup would be for a bear, wait to see if we break out. This might be counterintuitive. I thought you said you're bearish people. Yeah, you've got to be, if you want to make money on the way down, you sell from a higher level to start with, or you short from a higher level. And the highest levels on the 4 hourly is 65,175 or 66,672. Death cross retests, just like what I'm saying for Vchain. Death cross retest. So you could be bullish in a bearish formation, you can be bearish in a bullish formation. It's up to you how you want to play it. But death crosses are not bullish. They are bearish, but they do invite retests, just like a golden cross would do. So just remember what I'm saying here. I know it's hard to follow for some people, but that's the way it is. So, optimism from this level to move up into nothing more than a rejection up here. Same thing with Vchain. We're optimistic for a breakout here, for move up only to get rejected here, and the higher term timeframes are not suggesting bottoms, but we'll see. I think we're going to move up into these death crosses over this weekend into next week, and if we get rejected from them, we shouldn't be surprised. If we break through them, excellent. Even more money for us if you're looking to hodl these positions. So there is a trade here. There's a trade on a lot of altcoins, to be honest with you. We saw a lot of them last night. It does require Bitcoin to behave itself. But I think the death cross retests are going to be in play. And so what this means really for the market is I think we're going to see a bit of a move on altcoins, maybe 20, maybe 30, maybe more percent, and then only just get rejected from there. So you'll probably see a lot of people say call in the lows, because you'll see rallies on altcoins of, like I say, 20, 30, 40, 50%. Oh, it's over. All season, baby. Well, just to finish off here, the Bitcoin dominance chart is sitting at a major weekly support here. 21 exponential on the weekly, that's major support. But if this move does start to happen, and it could, if it does start to happen, and again, so many altcoins, including Bitcoin to be honest, but so many altcoins offer the same sort of setup, which is a breakout into a death cross retest and rejection, you would imagine and you would expect this to come down. And if we saw a breakdown on the Bitcoin dominance chart, it's likely to get supported on, oh no, you know what it is, don't you? It's a golden cross, so it's a bullish formation. So Bitcoin dominance goes down, people think that alts are bullish, but really all we're looking at here is going to be a bullish retest on a dominance chart, which is overall better for Bitcoin. But in the short term, it gives the impression that altcoins are extremely strong, but really all they're doing is moving into a major support on the dominance chart, where there'll either be a big dump, or maybe a rotation back into Bitcoin or whatever. So this is what we're looking for. Can the weekly close below that 21 exponential on the Bitcoin dominance chart? If it does, I'll be looking for a drop of maybe up to 4.5% on the dominance chart. And only then, when we get down to these areas, the 50, the green 50 exponential, the 200 exponential, when we get down to those areas, that's when you probably have to reassess, all right, I'm feeling very bullish here because I've just made 20, 30, 40, 50%, in a week. Remember, this is where trades are formulated before the moves take place. When they happen, it does cause emotion of all kinds. Remember the rational version of yourself. This is what I'll be saying anyway. Remember the rational version of yourself. Don't change the goalpost. Expectations are the same as they were on Saturday morning when I made that video. If we break down from here, excellent. Altcoins rally. 20, 30, 40, 50%, only to get rejected on their death crosses as the dominance chart gets supported on its golden cross. It seems quite neat and tidy, and this is the trade setup. It's not the only one in the world. It doesn't mean it has to happen, but at the moment this is the best I've got, so I'm looking for this to either play or not play. And if it plays, great, I'll make some money. If it doesn't play, no big deal, you know, on to the next, whatever the next trade setup is. But because this setup, not just for Vchain, but for a lot of altcoins, suggests one particular outcome, I think it's more likely that we will get this outcome, which is altcoins rally 20, 30, 40, 50%, get rejected, probably come back down to where they came from, maybe even lower, as the dominance chart hits a support and then bounces up and goes higher. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, come and have a look on the Telegram. Well, I'm usually dotted around there, as are the rest of the community, who are all quite, the vast majority of them are pretty successful and competent traders in their own rights. Other than that, if you want to take it one step further, join the Patreon, links in the description below. Other than that though, I hope you have a nice day, trade safe. I think there's a good opportunity here over the next week, but obviously no guarantees. Thanks for watching, take it easy.